What's up, my pugnios? Andy with Andy Vlogs. Really excited to share with you guys finally the comparison video. As the title suggests, we're going to go over all the new features specifically and in detail of the GoPro Hero 9, and we're also going to compare it to its predecessor, the GoPro Hero 8. I've got this little dual mount thingy-majig. I have it on the three-way mount, and we're going to go over everything that was marketed to you in the marketing promo and also on their website. This is going to include all of the new updates to their features, the software, all of the different settings, including 5K. So let's jump right into it. I am going to admit here that everything's going to be encoded and outputted to 4K 30. And so I will show you the specifics of the settings on screen, split screen, but obviously note that this video is rendered in 4K 30. Let's go ahead and start with the displays and the user interface. Alright, you can tell first and foremost the screen is just beautiful. On both displays they look really good, but obviously on the 9 you've got a bigger aspect ratio, bigger screen and real estate. Next you'll notice that the interfaces are exactly the same. You can see that you've got the 4 customization buttons on each side. I like to keep it Slo-Mo, timer, zoom, and steady shot. Up above you'll notice that the text is a little bit bigger, as well as the battery life is a little bit bigger. Alright, let's go ahead and move on now to the interface for video. This is what most people are interested in. Let's break it down. We're just going to go into video profile, the standard one. So it looks like we've got the same interface here as before. You've got your res, FPS, lens, hypersmooth, scheduled caps, duration, hindsight on the left, and then on the right you've got low light, zoom, and clips. If I keep scrolling down, timer and zoom is there. It looks like they took clips off from the 8. Alright, let's go ahead and let's jump into the res and FPS and see what we've got here. Remember, we're on linear. Okay, the interface is very similar, except there's 2 rows, one with 3 on the top and one with 4 on the bottom for the GoPro Hero 9. Down below we've got 240 frames a second as well as an option. And then on the top row you've got your 4x3 dimensions. On the bottom row you've got your 16x9. So it looks like we can go all the way to 5K, 30 frames a second. On the GoPro Hero 8 we can only do 4K 60 frames. I'm going to click on 4K. 4K, it looks like we've got the same thing, 4K all the way up to 60, which is nice. And then 1080p, that unlocks the 240 frames a second, which is a little disappointing because that's what they touted here, that now you can do 8 times slow-mo, but you could always do 8 times slow-mo. There's no difference here, so that's a little misleading as well. Let's go ahead and move over now to our time lapse and look at the interface, see if anything's changed here. It looks like we've got 3 different options on the GoPro Hero 9 as opposed to the 2. I don't know what this third one is. Speed ramp, set weather speed ramp toggles. That's a new feature that's really exciting that they were showcasing on the website. You can speed ramp. That means that you can select specific parts of the video to slow down and speed up, which I think is really exciting. On the GoPro Hero 8 they don't have that. We've got linear and horizontal leveling, which we will definitely be showing. This is that new feature they were talking about. You can use the horizontal leveling now with the time warp and also with shooting. You can see here on the GoPro Hero 8, you've obviously got the normal display that shows you the battery, the memory, and what number you are. But you can also see here now on the GoPro Hero 9, you've got yourself that front-facing camera. Now, you can actually go into the settings of the GoPro Hero 9 and you can either decide for it to show your face or to do the whole shot. Alright, we're going to pull down the preferences. You notice a few things here already, and then they've got these 2 new buttons here. This one is the display itself on the front screen options. You can see that I've got wide angle. You can go ahead and turn it to full screen. You can see now that it's zoomed in and you've got the interface right on the other top of it. You can even turn off the screen itself by pushing this 3rd button, and that just reverts it back to how it was on the 8. And then lastly, you can completely turn the display off itself. And now you've got a blank display. One thing I want to show you guys before we do the demos is the battery life. So I've been filming here for probably 20 minutes trying to go through all of these user interfaces, and I wanted to see what the difference is in battery. And you can't quite see it here just because of my lighting, but we're sitting at 88% on the GoPro Hero 9 and 87% on the GoPro Hero 8. So you can see that it is taking, you know, a lot more energy and power for it to run both displays as well as allow you to output the brightness. Both brightnesses are the same at 80% on both screens, but you can see that the GoPro Hero 9 just hit 87%, and so that's kind of what you're dealing with now. So first we're going to talk about resolution on the GoPro Hero 9. This is 5K in all its glory. I'm going to show you down below what specific settings there are. As you can see, this is 5K wide. It's huge. So this is like the full lens, and it goes very big, very wide. I also have the wind reduction on, and so because it's really windy right now and it's about to rain. Now we've moved on to linear. You can see that it's broadened in. The world is smaller. It's not as round or elongated. And there's my son.
Lock the door.
You locked the door. And now we've got narrow. You can see there's definitely no distortion at all here at the edge. It looks really good. I punched in. You've got about, I don't know, 8 feet of space. I'm like 8 feet away. This is ideal for shots that are not necessarily extreme sports, but are obviously on a tripod. All right, next up we're gonna check out this 20 megapixel camera. This is not too bad. We're gonna go ahead and start from the top of the shooting style or shooting method, and we're gonna do the SuperPhoto. Then we're gonna take an HDR, then we're gonna do standard, and then we're gonna do raw. We're gonna have those shots using the linear lens. Obviously, we'll be comparing the sensor from the 8 to the 9. All right, the differences are pretty astounding here, but we're gonna jump into live burst now. This is gonna take 30 pictures on the GoPro Hero 8 and 25 pictures on the 9. So let's go and see if I can match it up. Okay, now we're just going to do a burst of shots. This is on narrow lens and on auto. Alright, I'm dizzy now, my hand hurts from falling, but those are all the burst shots on the photo side. Let's go ahead and jump to videoing. So I'm going to hand hold it, we're going to walk around, we're going to show you the horizon leveling, we're going to compare, you know, 4K 30, 4K 60, 5K, 120 frames a second on 1080p, all that kind of stuff, so let's do it. Alright folks, we're now on 4K 30. I've got the wind suppression on both cameras, and there's a couple things to know. On the GoPro Hero 8, it only allowed me to go to linear. On the GoPro Hero 9, allowed me to go to narrow, so you can see that there's already a few differences in shooting here. So we're just going to keep walking around the house, and we're going to be flipping from different settings. Okay, GoPro Hero 9 is now on linear, so we're now parity right now for the 8 and the 9. Just walking around showing you guys in different lighting situations. I got the sun right on my face. We're now going to go under this tree and get some more harsh light and show you what that's like with the harsh light on my face as well as the shadows. We're gonna go maybe a little bit further out. I wish I had my selfie stick, but it didn't work on this duo thing. I'm about maybe 3 feet away. You can hear the audio is a little bit suppressed, but you got some wind in the background. Let's see how it does in the trees. It's able to keep a pretty good profile here. I'm enjoying it. Okay, now we're on wide for both of them. I'm gonna set it down and walk myself back. Now we're gonna have kind of a POV view. We're gonna run. That's with me holding it in my hand. Now let's do a run holding it outstretched. See if that does anything different. It's a little more difficult to stabilize it. Again, this doesn't have Hypersmooth on it. I will do Hypersmooth now. Okay, now Hypersmooth boost is on wide lens, not super view yet. There's me running. Okay, this is stupid. Why am I running in my yard? I'm gonna get my longboard and see if that does any better. Let's try this new horizon leveling. This is on 4K 60, as you can see. Horizon leveling. I'm gonna just kick as hard as I can down the street and try to go fast. Get you a couple of cool shots. See what that looks like. Woo! My skateboard will go well. I'm tired. Okay, let's try it from behind. Okay, so a few things here. I'm on 240 frames a second, 1080p. I'm on linear on the GoPro Hero9, but it maxes out to wide, so you actually can't punch in on the GoPro Hero8. So let's do some filming. Alright folks, I'm back, really sweaty. Hopefully you guys like that footage. It was a good representation of what it looks like, but I'm still not satisfied. I still have hyperlapse and I still have true horizontal limiting or whatever. And so I'm gonna show you a treat here and we're gonna do this. Alright, so we're gonna test the horizon leveling here, 4K 60 on my scooter, front facing. Then I'll switch it on the other side. We also have over here, right next to it, we're gonna have the scooter facing forward on 4K 60 with hyper smooth boost everything. They went that way. All right, this is round 2 of the horizon leveling. I didn't have the camera set all the way back. It's interesting on this Chesty, you can have it kind of face up that way, and I had it facing straight, but the way that I lean into stuff on my scooter, I actually lean in a lot, so you get too much of the scooter instead of, you know, the horizon. And so I'm gonna have it as high as I can up and see if I can't get it to test right. So here we go. Horizon leveling part 2, and then we'll go into the time warp. All right, I like to go through that neighborhood because it's got a lot of bumps and a lot of curves and a lot of low lighting, a lot of highlights and stuff. And so we'll see how that turns out in the post. Now we're going to turn on time warp and go down the road all the way down to the very end so you can see the beautiful mountain range, and then we're going to come back and we'll be done. Okay, we're moving on. I found a couple of things to note. That's why it's a new day. I actually found that you can do horizon leveling with 5K 30 frames a second, so we're gonna test that out. And then I shot some Hypersmooth time warp, and I didn't do it right, so I'm gonna do it again and see if I can't get Hypersmooth time warp to work better. Also, we're gonna be doing some speed ramp. I got speed ramp to work. Unfortunately, you can't do speed ramp with 4K. You have to do it 1080p, and then you can do speed ramp at half the time. So we'll show you that. So let's check it out. All right, we're doing 5K 30 frames a second horizon leveling. Here we go. Pungos, I've tried 3 times, long and hard, to figure out how to do this, and I think I figured it out. This is how you do the speed ramp. It has to be done in camera. Alright, so I've got my GoPro Hero9 here. Sorry for the lack of professionalism, but this is the only way I can think I can do this. So basically, you go into time warp, you go into the settings, okay, you turn on speed ramp. So it doesn't really matter what you choose. You could do speed ramp half or real time. So it's enabled. Granted, you have to have the resolution at 1080p. You can't do it at 4K. But once you start your time warp, then you can toggle the speed ramp. See that? Alrighty, so now we're here on location, and I'm going to start hiking, and then I'll kind of show you what it looks like on the GoPro Hero 9 when you toggle it on and off. Okay, I've toggled time warp on. Now you can see I push that button right there to toggle the half speed ramp, and then it goes blue, and then you toggle it back on. So let's jump into it. Man, boy, did that turn out really well. Oh, the speed ramping is so cool. There's a few things that I have to do to tweak, or I need to start it sooner before I like go into my speed ramp, because there were some times when I did the little vegetation too early and too fast. But in my brain I was like, it's half speed, so if I move fast, then it'll be like real speed. But I might as well just toggle the real speed on. Maybe if I'm doing like more action shots, I can do the half speed, and that would speed ramp it better. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and end right there. Well, that didn't turn out so bad. I'm gonna go ahead and head home and process all this. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me. This is Andy with Andy Vlogs, doing a full tutorial and breakdown of these two device comparisons and showing you what it looks like in real time and real measure. Thanks so much for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and also support the channel by checking out the links below. See you guys. Bye.